Gholson. But what me as being a historian, whenever something grabs me, I don't just take it for what it is. I got to research it and check it out. Well, come to find out, we was here at church one Sunday, and a man came in looking for his family. And we all asked, well, what's their name? And he said, well, they're Wagners. And we started laughing because we knew that most of the people here at Gholson Church, Gholson Church of God in Christ, was Wagners. Anyway, in doing the research, I found out something. Green Wagner Jr., which is our grandfather, was a junior, and his dad was named Green Wagner Sr. Well, come to find out, he had 10 more siblings. And the guy that came here, which was Calvin Smith, his mother was Wilson Wagner's daughter, who was Green Wagner Sr.'s brother. What I wanted to do is to let, which they probably don't know, is who those siblings were. First one was Green Wagner Sr. The second one was Marion Wagner. Then there was Wilson Wagner, which was his grandfather. Louise Wagner, Maddie Wagner, Lee Wagner, Lydia Wagner, Sarah Wagner, Pharaoh Wagner, Letty Wagner, and Josie Wagner. So that would go back at least 2 generations from us. If you go, well, actually, it'd be three generations. You would go back to my mother, then her dad, and this would be his dad's lineage. Mm-hmm. It's very important that we know who our lineage is. And like I say, I got the baptizing from Aunt Bessie that you need to know who your people are, to the point where when hee-haw would go off, she'd say, come here, I want to ask you something. I have such and such kin to you. And if you could not answer, she'd say, go get me that strap, meaning the belt. And Aunt Bessie was laid back, but when it came to you knowing your family, she was serious about it. And she said, go get that strap. That means if you didn't get it right this next time, we're going to help you remember. So, in that, a lot of people come and ask me, how is such, Anthony call all the time, how is such and such kin to such and such? And I said, well, okay, I don't know right now, give me a couple of days, and I'll go through and look. Sometimes I go through obituaries and look, and you'll see how they got the different, but it all boils down to the black people did something for heritage for their children. One thing that Green Wagner Sr. did for our family was he bought property. And it was brought out in one of our reunions that Green Wagner Sr. had 150 acres. Now, you just heard her say something about they gave you 40 acres and a mule. That was it.
Promised.
Yeah, that was it. This man had 150 acres. Well, what he did was he broke that down. He gave each one of his kids, which would have been Aunt Bessie, Green Wagner Jr., Aunt Lottie, Uncle Reuben, Uncle Robert, Uncle Otto, Uncle Wash, Con Clarence. Con Clarence's daddy was Clarence Sr. Anyway, there was also a William Wagner who passed away when he was 15 years old. They was out hunting, and he put the gun on the fence, and it slid off and went off and killed him. But what I was trying to get us to understand was he gave each one of his kids 14.6 acres. And I am one of the recipients of one of those 14.6 acres. Bessie had 14.6 acres. She gave me 10 of that 14 acres. Um, Also, she gave another cousin of ours the other 4.6 acres. All right. In that, we the girl that she gave it to didn't keep it. She did not sell it to outside the family, and that was one thing that Uncle Otto brought up to our family when we was going to the different reunions. Is to if you was gonna sell property, you needed to sell it within the family. That way, it stayed in the family. Well, if the good Lord lets us keep the property that we have right now in 2029, the property up there where my mother's house is and Uncle Iris's and all that will be in the Wagner family for 100 years. So
Amen.
It's so important that we know our history and know where we come from. Now, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna sit down. Most of the Wagners were farmers back then. Uncle Otto, though he had the store, he grew all kinds of vegetables. And he did not just sell them in this area. If you go, I happen to be doing some work in, what's the name of the little town? It's a little town out, going outside of Waco.
Axel.
Yeah, Axel. And these people remembered, some of the older people remembered him coming and selling different vegetables and things. And so I think, this is me talking, I think it is so important that we know our heritage and that we keep it going. Keep it going because even down to we had cousins, which would have been Clarence Sr.'s children, which was Cousin Boss and Cousin Clarence. Well, they used to grow corn, and Shonda now used to braid up the silk on the side of the corn, and they think it looked like they had little dolls or something. But he would come and he would tell Mama, "You gotta tell them girls they gotta quit braiding up the silk. That protects the corn. We don't want it all, braided up." But it's so important that we know our heritage and that we tell our children so they know. And I'm gonna be honest with you, my kids know more about my dad's side, the Smith side, than I did, because they spent time with him and he talked to them about it. Now on the Smith side, my grandmother's side, I know it all the way down, but I don't know the Smith side. Then I met Bobby Scott. She's 83 years old. She's my, let me get it right. She's my grandfather's niece. And me and my wife went and visited her, and she always, Little David, that's what she called me. Well, I think, what's the guy that helped put mother's
Manuel.
north side on her house?
Manuel.
Spanish guy.
Oh, I think you're talking about
Spanish
Manuel.
guy. Reggie. Reggie was a Spanish guy who him and my daddy was real good friends. Well, his daughter worked here at the store down there. Well, Danny, down here at the
Dolly.
Dolly, who worked at the deal. Well, when she would see me, she would say, "There's little David." And then when she would see DJ, she said, "There's little David." She called him little David. So it's so important that we know who our history is. And I even have to ask Tierra and DJ about my dad's side, because my dad's father's side. My dad's mother's side, I know it. I got it all the way down to, but I don't know that side. And that's where Bobby Scott came involved. When she found out who I was, then me and my wife went to visit her. She had all these pictures. I'm finna sit down. She had all these pictures which showed a lot about the school over here in West. And you know me, when I came with where I could take pictures of it and all of this, so that I could take that information back. And it's so important that we tell our children about their ancestors, so they'll know. I'm gonna sit down.
Amen.